it's hard. It's just hard when it comes to the kind of family and friends issue because people don't want to be around me because of what I'm labelled. But they should just understand it's just a government, it's just a government name. Before I went on ASBO, my future ambitions, I remember I always thought I would play for Chelsea. All I ever wanted to do was football, football, football. Every Friday, I used to go out, practice. Saturday, I'd wake up early, 6 a.m., training. Had to keep fit, had to watch what I ate. Did things like that. I used to even train professionally with Southgate's football team. Like I was actually getting somewhere with things like doing something I enjoyed. I did that. That was my hobby. That was my life. I thought I was gonna do because I loved football. Life growing up was hard. Like it was hard having a single parent and a lot of brothers and sisters. Like having a single parent just bringing you up by themselves with no father figure, no role model around. Like it just made things harder living in the area where people I'm seeing shootings, killing at the age of flipping like 8 years old. I'm seeing a lot of things happening. People trying to bring me into their gangs and stuff like that. I was just trying to live a normal life, if you get what I mean. I grew up in a kind of religious home. With my younger brother mostly, and my mum. She was a single parent. Like by the age I was like 16, I was told my dad was stabbed. When I was 5, like my auntie and uncle, they passed away. He used to look after me because my mum and dad couldn't really cope. Like it was kind of emotional growing up. So we always kept like God strong with us. Like we used to go to church every Sunday with my little brother, cousins, try to keep the family as close as possible. Like now I still go to church. I feel my dad is even like with me. He's watching down on me with the angels, if you get what I mean. I remember being at school, the only thing I enjoyed doing was like playing football with friends, the mates I used to hang with in it, around the park and around the area. I remember always having my homework on time, stuff, things like that, little things like that. I was always stressing to do. But now as I started growing up, just started to getting more angry, thinking about things like why am I in school, people are dying and stuff like that. If you get what I mean, like I started getting more angry and frustrated with life, and it was like when these emotions started coming through. It was like I was in about probably like year 11. That's when things like that started getting worse, and I dropped out of school.
Uh, Obviously, ASBO is there are two routes onto an ASBO. Firstly, so the first one is as a post-conviction ASBO, and the second one is a standalone ASBO. So, in order to get a standalone ASBO, there has to be an element of antisocial behaviour that's been going on for at least 6 months or more, because that's where the evidence is collected from. So, for the local authority, for the police to want to take out an ASBO, then there's got to be a build-up of antisocial behaviour or a build-up of at risk of offending. There's got to be a build-up of complaints. So the positives of the ASBO are obviously to try and reduce that, to try and reduce the impact on the community, to try and manage people's behaviour in a way that doesn't result in a criminal conviction.
We were all drunk, so I couldn't really even remember what happened, to be honest. But the police said there was a noise in the street or something like that. Like there was a loud noise. I went into people's houses without permission, started littering, probably trashing up the place and stuff like that. Like just basically irritating people on the streets. I think it started out as a bit of fun, and we ended up damaging property. So like I know I deserve it, a bit of what happened, but don't think I deserve as much as what's going on now with my family and friends. I've been on ASBO for almost about 2 years because I remember going on it around the age of 16, but now I'm 18, so I think, yeah, it's about 2 years really. Well, my mum, it's me really, like, it's just my mum, like, she kind of excluded me out of the kind of family. We stopped speaking as much as we used to. I stopped going to church, like, because of her. Like I stopped going to church because we distanced ourselves away from each other. We used to go to the same church. She keeps telling me, well, my dad would be ashamed of me. Like, it just put me down for quite a while. But obviously she was angry, annoyed. Do you get what I mean? Like, I'm causing the family more stress and of what's going on in the house. Like, I shouldn't be doing them kind of things. My mum's a single mum. She doesn't need them kind of things going on. Do you get what I mean? But it just made me start to think about life more. That's the kind of effect it's had on my life. Like, I think about life. I always think before I do something.
I've been working in youth offending for 17 years, 18 years, and we complete an assessment for every young person that comes through the door. So every young person has what's called an asset assessment that identifies 13 criminogenic risk factors, identifies positive factors as well. And the job of the youth offending service is to build on those positive factors, reduce the negative factors, and to kind of help people to desist from offending, to move away from that behaviour. So every young person, when they come through the door, they have the assessment, and those help predict whether there is a likelihood of further offending. They look at the risk factors, they look at the risk of the offences, they look at the motivation to change, they look at the antecedents. And so that assessment helps you to draw a picture. I don't think that for a first-time entry, then their future's mapped out for them at all. Some people who are recidivist offenders, or some people who continue to offend, then obviously it's easier to predict what their behaviour is going to be like. But certainly for a young person, for a first-time offender, that's not an easy thing to predict. We do the assessment and we work in the lines of that assessment. In the very many years that I've done this, there are, kind of count on the fingers of one hand, those young people that you think, oh my goodness, this one's going to be very difficult to turn around. And I think that the reason most people that work in youth offending, the reason they do it is because young people do have a chance in every situation.
Well, I don't really socialise as much because I can't really trust people anymore, but I'm a bit closer to certain people in my family, like my little brother. I try to be as much as a role model as I can to him, innit? I want him to be playing football. I want him to be successful. I want him to have the kind of life that I never grew up with. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to be his role model because our dad's not here to help us or anything like that. Mum can't really do that kind of job, so yeah, like just trying to be a role model. It's made me smarter. I'm thinking about looking for a job now, going back to college, just trying to get back my life on track. Do you know what I mean?
I would say learn from why it happened. Think about what they want the future to hold. I guess I'd ask that person the question, what does success look like for you? What does a positive outcome look like for you? What is it you want to achieve, if that's around education, around training, around employment, if it's around kind of particular life goals, then there shouldn't be any barrier, and ASBO shouldn't be a barrier to moving forward for that. I say the ASBOs are given because of either offending and it's tagged onto a court sentencing, or it's because of a build-up of antisocial behaviour. Now, some people may say that some courts get the ASBOs wrong. That's not for me to decide, but that shouldn't be a barrier to moving forward and making changes.
Well, my future plans is what I'm really looking for is like a permanent job now. I want a permanent job so I can start making proper money, can help out my family more. I'm even thinking of working in a bar. I feel God has given me another chance, the opportunity to change. I want to apply for building construction course in college. I want my mum to be proud of me. Just want everything in life to go well, if you get what I mean.